Yo, Knicks fam. Let's get right into this one because Josh Hart just did it again, and honestly, I live for this stuff. This man cannot go a single week without finding a new way to torture somebody on the internet. And this time his target is Donovan Mitchell. Not about basketball, though. Not about the final sweep, not about the playoffs, none of that. This time Hart went straight for Mitchell's other heartbreak this summer, the Mets. And look, before I even get into what he said, I need you to smash that like button right now. Because if you're a real Knicks fan, you already know where this is going and you know it's going to be good. Drop a comment too. Tell me you remember exactly where you were when the Knicks swept Cleveland, because that's basically the backdrop for this entire situation. So here's the deal. The Mets are an absolute disaster right now. Dead last in the NL East. 45 wins, 62 losses. That's not a slump, that's a full-blown collapse. And get this, they're carrying the second highest payroll in all of baseball, once you factor in the luxury tax. So we're talking about a team spending stupid amounts of money to be one of the worst teams on the entire planet. That's not bad luck. That's organizational malpractice. If I'm a Mets fan, I'm embarrassed. If I'm Donovan Mitchell, a die-hard, ride-or-die Mets guy, I am absolutely gutted right now. And Josh Hart knows it. Josh Hart smells blood. Because Hart, as we all know, is a die-hard Yankees fan. And he does not miss an opportunity to talk trash, especially when the moment sets itself up this perfectly. So with the MLB trade deadline creeping up and the Mets basically forced into a fire sale, Hart hopped on X and hit Mitchell with something like, "Hey, the trade deadline is coming up. You guys might want to do something. Things are getting a little rough over there." Short, simple, ice cold, and absolutely devastating. And honestly, I'm not mad at it. I'm here for it. Because this is exactly the kind of pettiness that makes this rivalry between these two so entertaining. Let's not forget, this is the same Donovan Mitchell, whose season basically ended when the Knicks steamrolled his Cavaliers in a 4-game sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. For games, not even competitive. The Cavs, who were supposed to be this juggernaut, this number 1 seed monster, got bulldozed by our guys, and Josh Hart was right there in the middle of it, doing what he does best, getting under people's skin. So now you've got Mitchell dealing with a brutal playoff exit courtesy of the Knicks, and on top of that, his baseball team is circling the drain in real time. There is no offseason for this man. There is no escape. Every corner he turns, there's another Knick waiting to remind him how rough this year has been for him. And I'll be honest, as a Knicks fan, watching this unfold has been one of the more satisfying side plots of this whole summer. If you're feeling this energy with me right now, drop a comment and tell me what you would have said if you were Josh Hart. Would you have gone even harder? Because, honestly, I think he was being nice. Now, look, I do want to give a little credit where it's due. From everything I've seen, this isn't some ugly, mean-spirited beef. These two clearly respect each other. Mitchell actually clapped back at Hart, too, so it's not like he just sat there and took it quietly. This is competitive banter between two guys who battled each other at the highest level and know exactly how good the other one is. That's part of what makes it fun, instead of toxic. It's two elite competitors who happen to know exactly where the other guy's pressure points are, and they're not afraid to poke at them. But let's zoom out for a second, because as a Knicks fan, I want to talk about what this moment actually represents. This isn't just some random Twitter jab. This is a symbol of where things stand right now between these two players and these two franchises. The Knicks are coming off the kind of statement performance that changes how people talk about this team for years. A clean sweep in the conference finals against a team that was supposed to be scary. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because the Knicks were built the right way, they were battle-tested, and when it mattered most, they didn't just beat Cleveland, they embarrassed them. Meanwhile, Mitchell is sitting here dealing with the aftermath of that on one side, and a complete disaster on the baseball diamond on the other side. I don't care who you are, that's a rough summer. That's the kind of stretch where you just want to unplug from social media for a while. Except he can't, because guys like Josh Hart are living rent-free in his mentions. And can we talk about the Mets for a second? Because I need to vent about this a little bit, even though I'm not even a baseball guy first and foremost. How does a team with that much money on the roster end up dead last? That's not a rebuilding situation. That's not a young team finding its footing. That's a fully loaded, expensive roster completely underperforming at the highest level. If I'm Mitchell, watching that unfold game after game, week after week, that's got to sting more than any basketball loss. At least in basketball, you can point to matchups, injuries, whatever. When you're spending that kind of money and still landing in the basement of your division, there's nowhere to hide. So yeah, Josh Hart picked the perfect moment to strike. And that's exactly why this whole thing is blowing up the way it is. Timing is everything, and Hart's timing was surgical. Now here's the part where I want to hear from you, because I always love reading what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Mitchell needed to respond the way he did, or should he have just stayed silent and let it go? Personally, I think firing back was the right move, because if you don't answer Josh Hart, he's just going to keep going. That's who he is. He thrives on getting a reaction. And listen, this whole situation is exactly why I love following this team right now. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about the personality, the swagger, the fact that our guys aren't afraid to talk, aren't afraid to have fun, and aren't afraid to remind the rest of the league who's really running things right now. Josh Hart could have just stayed quiet and let Mitchell deal with his Mets problems privately. But no, he had to hop online and make sure everybody saw it. That's the Knicks culture we're building right now, confidence, edge, and a refusal to let anybody forget what happened in that sweep. Before I wrap this up, seriously, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. And drop a comment below telling me your favorite Josh Hart troll moment. Because trust me, this is not the first time, and it will not be the last time he does something like this. I want to see your comments. I read every single one. So let's get a conversation going down there. At the end of the day, this is bigger than one tweet. This is a snapshot of where things stand right now. The Knicks are riding high, fresh off dismantling a team that was supposed to be a real threat, and Donovan Mitchell is left picking up the pieces on two different fronts. Josh Hart just made sure nobody forgets it. So that's where we're at right now, Knicks fam. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Smash that like button if you're riding with this team into next season, and I will see you in the next one.